One final reaction. One final reaction.
Subscribe!
Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video, and we're gonna be reacting to Gacha Smack. Without further ado, let's begin with today's content.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly.
Hold up, pull this up. There we go.
I wanted to share with you guys how I'm going to be building my Aventurine, the 5 billion IQ strat I'll be utilizing. I ran some numbers because he has one of those blade kits where you're sitting here asking yourself, should I rock a crit damage body or a defense body? Should I rock an imaginary orb or a defense orb? Should I rock a defensive boot or a speed boot? Like, he has one of them kits that actually prompted me to whip out the good old Gacha Smack math. It's been a while since we've done it, but I do understand the formulas profoundly, and I learned them specifically for situations like this. Anyways, I discovered some interesting results that I want to share with you guys, and they're going to make it a much easier choice for you as to regards to whether you need to do more grinding
This
or use
changes
what you already
everything.
have. That's exactly why I want to share them with you. With that being said, after we do that, then we'll go over the main stats I'm going to be running as well as the substats, and then the light cone I'm going to be using on him. I'll have some substitutes as well in case you don't have it, rest assured. But let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so
Someone in chat said I'm getting blade flashbacks. Holy nuclear drama. Okay, but anyways, let's see what's up.
try not to spend too much time making your head spin with a lot of these big old fancy numbers. First and foremost, you just need to know when he's level 80, he's going to have 654 defense. With Japard's light cone, which is a part of this example, he'll have 595 in addition to that. His total base defense, once you put them together, is going to be 1,249. These are going to be all the multipliers that I'm going to be calculating in the example I'll be showing you. Now, we did not include his technique because one, it only lasts 3 turns, and that's just not a good generalization with regards to how much defense he's going to have. So we left the technique out, although it is listed. Substat wise, nobody's going to have, not nobody, a lot of people aren't going to have 40% defense built into their substats. Then again, as we know how the RNG for these goddamn light cones and relics go, you probably do got 40. You might have more than that in the substats. You know what I mean? Anyways,
type 1, if you wrote so many goddamn defense ups, there's like, okay, you know what? Don't type 1. I don't even want to get depression, right? We're good.
For the most part, it would have been more accurate to put 20, but we already calculated it, so it is what it is. I will say, once you get to a certain defensive threshold, these percentages get severely diminished. So it's not a big deal. I promise you, not a big deal. The numbers guy, I do have some insight on that. Anyways, we did 2 different scenarios, 3 actually, we're just not showing them right here. We did how much defense he's going to have if you're not rocking a defense orb versus rocking a defense orb. 4,134 right here. That means he's rocking a defensive or boot and a damage sphere with a crit damage body. This one, he's rocking a defensive boot with a defensive sphere and a crit damage body. And the last thing,
Okay, so basically he only changed the sphere. He basically only changed the sphere. So he got another additional 700 defense when he changed the sphere.
I want to mention is he's rocking an energy recharge rope. He's not rocking a defensive boot. Okay, so
You don't need an ER rope. Okay, I'm so glad that we watched the CN version of this. You don't need ER rope on the Aventurine because he can very comfortably gain a 3-turn ultimate as long as he gets hit twice across 3 turns. And as a preservation unit, the odds of you getting hit twice over 3 turns is ridiculously high. So it is much better if you were to just run go ahead and run a defense rope, right? So glad that we got that out of the way.
you could put more defense on top of this scenario I'm providing. The next important thing, this is going to be the math. This is going to be a scenario, again, with Japard's light cone plus Ron May at E0 with her buffs supplied. What I'm saying is her skill's activated and she's popped her ult. So he has a 25% all type res pin in this formula, and he has the 68% damage bonus she gives to the whole team. Why Ron May? Let's take a quick little break here before we go back. Ron May takes care of his biggest weakness. I've told this to you guys before. The formula for damage is going to be attack percent multiplier. In his case, it's defense percent multiplier, right? Defense percent multiplier times additive damage bonus box times crit damage box times defense box times elemental resistance box times did you break their shield box or not?
Okay, at this point, I feel like it would have been good if Rogue Killer inserted like the little chart, like the damage for... Yo, can my editor insert the chart for Gacha Smack? Can you help me insert the chart for the damage multiplier so that we can visualize this a little bit better? Right, okay.
The formula, and generally what it's going to be is a massive multiplier times a massive multiplier times a massive multiplier. The biggest weakness with Aventurine is he has virtually no damage bonus in his kit. He has like a little bit in his traces, and that's it. Nothing else in the entirety of his kit gives him a damage bonus. But putting Ron May, attaching Ron May to his hip is quite significant to him dealing damage because...
Which is why, in the CN variation, everybody's just... If you want to deal damage with Aventurine, you rock the imaginary damage sphere, 100%. Okay, Gacha Smack is absolutely right. Aventurine lacks damage percentage. He only has a little bit, tiny little bit from his traces. He really needs the damage. And it has been proven that you can very comfortably still hit your 4k defense while running your imaginary damage sphere, right? So that's it.
Otherwise, the additive damage bonus multiplier is pretty much taken out of the equation, and he just gets scuffed for damage. Long story short, if you're maidenless, Aventurine's damage is going to suck, but it can be circumvented to a degree if you have a defensive shredder in placement of her because he also has no defensive shred in his kit or the team comps he's going to be running, right? You're typically going to attach him to the hip of a Topaz, a Dr. Ratio, a Clara, and maybe you're going to pair them together with a Topaz or something of the sort, but you could do something like a Dr. Ratio with a Pella, a Ron May, and then an Aventurine. You could do something like that and it would work, and he would actually deal a lot more damage on that team thanks to the Pella and the Ron May. So these numbers aren't doing that. These numbers are taking into consideration that you're running him.
I would say, yes, defense threat is a separate multiplier, but no, defense threat is not a good multiplier because defense threat's damage, it really only starts to ramp up when you have a lot of defense threat. You get what I'm saying? Like, his defense threat is like an exponential graph, whereas for like res pen, it's a straight graph. So in the earlier stages, it is much better to have res pen over defense threat, if you get what I'm saying. If you are comparing a overcapped defense versus defense threat because you already have so much defense or you already have so much damage bonus from Ranmei, then yes, absolutely a separate multiplier is going to be better. So, yeah.
With Ranmei and then Dr. Ratio Topaz. That's going to be like the most popular composition. Ranmei, Dr. Ratio Topaz, and then Aventurine. So
yep.
that's the example.
That's pretty much it.
Important
That's also the highest damage team comp they're going to be doing with Aventurine. It's going to be, in fact, it's going to be even higher than Archron, but then again, Archron deals way more damage than Ratio and Topaz combined, so it is what it is.
Now, with that being said, I wasn't lying to y'all when I said this man's damage was mid, but what's the discrepancy between the damage percent orb versus the defense orb? Let's look at that. Basic attack.
I think we kinda dispelled this in the previous video. Aventurine's damage is really not that mid once you get him going. Once he gets hit, all of the follow-up starts to trigger. You pair him up with your supports, your Ranmei, your Pella, your defense threat. You give him the proper build. It's really not that bad. The damage, the chip damage in the vacuum is like, it's not that much, right? It's like 50k. Nobody cares. But if this chip damage, it adds up, it allows you to hit a certain threshold where you can save a big hit. For example, if it prevents your Archron from wasting an ultimate for like a 1 HP enemy, or if it prevents your Jingyuan from wasting a 10-stat Light Lord, that's when this chip damage really comes in handy. So yeah.
Attack, crit strike, damage percent orb, 17.5. Hey, defense percent orb, 16.9.
Yep.
Guys, that is very, very low discrepancy in damage to the point where you might as well rock a defense percent orb. Just like that Blade scenario, in fact, even worse. Blade's crit damage body at least does noticeably more damage to the point where you can make an argument that it's going to provide some value. Even though I like the HP percent for tankiness, you get more damage out of crit damage body, 5%, right? A little bit 5%, somewhere around there. This shit here, look how low the numbers are, period. It's like, who cares if I'm doing 600 more damage? I might as well put a defense percent orb on him and be more comfortable instead of sacrificing my defense so I can do 600 more damage. We look at the ultimate, same concept, 47.4 versus 45.7.
Is Blade 2.0, guys. Dude, I said I got, yo, a Gacha Smack's Aventurine build is gonna be 4 defense main stats, cause like, it doesn't matter, and I just want to be more comfy, which is completely valid, by the way. It's completely valid, but yeah, it's
might as well slap a goddamn defense percent orb on him. You get what I'm trying to say there? And then finally, damage percent versus defense percent on the follow-up attack. It's gonna be 4.4 times 7, because he does it 7 times. Right across, if it's a bunch of people out there, then it's gonna be like each freaking unit, which really is booty cheek damage. If it's a single target, it ain't nothing to brag home about, 28k, bro. And they all have to land crits. So look at this damage discrepancy here on all of these. This is damage percent orb versus defense percent orb. Now come down here. I did what about, because I already know you're gonna ask this next, what about crit damage body versus defense percent body? So right here is gonna be the regular one, 17.5. This is the exact same scenario.
No one should be rocking defense body because Aventurine lacks a lot of crit value. You need to kind of crank that shit up. I feel like this main point is just stems from the fact that Gacha Smack is running ER rope on Aventurine, which is just really not needed. You legit don't need ER rope on Aventurine. And the moment you run your defense boots with defense rope, your crit damage body with imaginary damage sphere is gonna look a lot stronger in comparison. But because he's rocking the ER rope, which honestly just does nothing, yeah, it's a little bit of a unfortunate
scenario
situation.
Is here, meaning we're doing a damage percent orb and a crit damage body. Now, what happens if we butcher the crit damage body and put in a defense percent orb, right? That's going to be the difference there. 16,000 damage versus 17.5. So you lose out on 1,500 damage on a basic attack. I personally think that's a great trade. I'll trade 1,500 damage on a basic attack to have a whopping 700 more defense to give more shield to my party. I think that's a great trade, a fantastic trade.
Is Blade over?
Finally, what about if you say
over?
The crit damage body off the imaginary orb and we just go full-blown big dick defense, right? Defense on the body, on the boot, on the spear, and then an energy recharge rope.
Oh my god, the quad defense.
You're gonna sacrifice 2,500 damage on the basic attack, and you're gonna be doing 15,150. Now you could take this damage discrepancy here and apply it to the ult, and the follow-up attack is gonna be the same percentage. I'm gonna keep it stacked with you. I think this is 100% worth it. With that being said, now we can get into the relics. I think the best build for him is going to be defense here, defense here, defense here, energy recharge rope here. Now I'm...
Oh my god, and there it is, boys. And there it is, the Gacha Smack classic. Oh my god, yo, can we get go back to... I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dabbling with this because I already have a build made. So I will do the most damage technically with this build that I have on, but in terms of comfort, if I want to get some good defense, some good shield provided to my team, I'm telling you, defense, defense, defense. 100% with an ER rope. If the ER rope isn't doing its job, which is going to be hard to see it not, then you can go defense here too. But most characters, when they generate energy, they generate 20 from a basic attack and they generate 30 from a skill. And that's a lot of the characters in the game, that's it. You have to get hit to generate more. Aventurine can generate energy with his follow-up attack. I believe it is 1 energy per follow-up tick. He has 7 ticks. That means he should be able to regenerate 7 energy off a follow-up attack. So if you rock an ER rope on him, that 7 energy can turn into 8.3 if it's 19.4. And then that may not seem like a lot, but if he triggers 3 follow-up attacks in a cycle, plus a basic, plus a skill, it adds up to like an extra 13 energy, which could definitely close the gap on getting an ultimate up.
Or you get hit and all of a sudden you have an additional 43% defense. Refer back to my CN first impressions video on why CN believes that you don't need an ER rope on Aventurine. You only run defense rope and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not gonna repeat myself. So it is what it is.
That said, when he takes damage, when he gets hit, that will give you more energy back as well. It all adds up. Trust me, it makes some fat freaking difference. So I think ER rope is gonna be a strong option for him. The sub stat wise, we're gonna go for crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, and speed. Most importantly, speed. The beautiful thing about Ron May, she gives you 10 speed extra when you go into the battle. And if you're rocking a DDD on her, which is one of the best in slots, you can make your Aventurine go twice, even though he's rocking a defense percent boot. You have one job. Get your Aventurine to somewhere near 120 to 124 speed. You can even go like 118 speed actually. But if you have 120 to 124 speed Aventurine, your Ron May is gonna make him go twice when she pops her DDD. If you have 124 to 125 speed Aventurine, your Ron May will make him go twice without even having on DDD. So attaching him to the hip of a Ron May is very valuable just for him to rock a defense percent boot and still be able to go 2 times. I hope that makes sense.
Oh my god. Gacha Smack is speaking from the perspective of a 0 cycle. You basically need 133.4 to go twice on the first wave, but for any normal player that wants to be just clearing the game as per normal, DDD will absolutely do if you clear a stage longer than the first wave, right? The first cycle. Because now your second cycle, you're just gonna end up going back to 1 action again. Imagine this, right? 0 cycle, because of DDD, you go from 1 action to 2 action. So you do gain this benefit, right? Because you're going for a 0 cycle clear. If you're going for a 1 cycle clear, which means that your first wave, you go twice, 2 different waves. Initially, you go from 1 action in the first wave and 2 action in the second wave. Because of DDD, you're now going 1 less action in the second wave and 1 more action in the first wave. That's how action value advance works. If you don't need a specific threshold, it doesn't really do anything for you. So I would say this dance being Ron May's best in slot or one of her best in slot. To a certain extent, yes, but legit, most of the time, it's gonna do. You'll be much better off just running your good old-fashioned Memory of the Past or even her signature Litecoin. Because, I mean, like, if we're gonna keep it relatable, right? Like, chat always flames me for the unrelatable content creator. If you want to keep it relatable, deadass, Zans is like one of, if not the most useless Litecoins, if you're not going to be going for 0 cycles. Secondly, I will say, if we are going to be going from this perspective of going for the additional action on the first wave, so you want to make your Aventurine go twice without running speed boots, you're right. But what you effectively achieve is that he's gonna do 1 more basic attack. You get what I'm saying? You do 1 more basic attack. If you were to consider, like, let's just, okay, if you want to break down into like nitty gritty, if you really want to be like, get down to the details, first action, you start off with half energy, you basic once, you're probably gonna be getting your follow-up attacks. And then if you get hit twice, like I mentioned, you are still gonna be able to get your ultimate without the additional turn from Aventurine. Unless your team comp desperately needed that 1 additional skill point, then that's a different story, right? I'm not saying he's wrong though. I think he's absolutely right when it comes to this specific setup that he's bringing up. In the sense where you want Aventurine to go twice, yes, you would need Ron May to run dance, and you would need some speed subs so that Aventurine can go twice. He's absolutely right. But is it applicable to majority of the situations if you're not going to be factoring in like this, like 0 cycle shenanigans? Probably not, right? So yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Genuinely.
Now I want to show y'all the amount of sets he has available. You could go Pioneer, Diver of Dead Waters. You could go Messenger, Traversing Hacker to close that speed gap in case you don't have any good speed substat rolls. You can do this too. You can run Wastelander. You can run the defense set right here. This is also another strong option. And is there anything else that and the follow-up set. Yeah, so you can run every single one of these sets that I just listed. Pioneer, the Ash.
Please don't run a follow-up set. The 4-piece is attack percentage. Unless you're running 2+2, then that's a different story. But yeah.
Plays Grand Duke, Messenger, Traversing, Wastelander, Knight of Purity plays. If you want the most tankiness, obviously you can go 4-piece here, get a 20% boost to your shield. But the way I'm gonna spin it, whichever piece has got the best substats. People often
no, that's absolutely true. You legit need to stop caring about sets that much if your substats are dog shit, right? If the best rainbow set you got is gonna give you Aventurine 4k defense, 90% crit rate, and 180% crit damage, just run it. No shame in that. So yeah, that's it.
Most times actually, they overvalue full 4 sets versus the strongest sets.
Absolutely.
Pokke has mentioned this before,
right.
and I completely agree with them.
it is what it is.
Now, some characters like Blade needs his full HP set. There's some characters where their whole set is just too strong to ignore. In fact, the imaginary set's another strong example here. For somebody like Welt, bro's just way too strong with his imaginary set, right? I don't recommend going off of this.
I would say at this point, even for Welt, the 4-piece debuff set, the 4-piece debuffer is even better than the 4-piece banditry. And also, farming for 4-piece imaginary is a complete waste of stamina. No one in their right mind should be farming for 4-piece imaginary because fire speed is just so bad. So bad. So yeah.
Well, it's just too damn strong. This set right here, another one that's too strong if the person can actually make these what do you call it, prerequisite conditions apply consistently. So what I'm doing is I'm doing like a 2-piece imaginary with a 2-piece Pioneer of the Dead Water. But look, here's another option. Another option is going to be I can go over here and I can swap this. Right, I have good defense, crit rate, crit damage, effect resistance. Boom, that's nice. I can go over here to this. I got a little speed boot over here somewhere. Where's it at? Here it is. She's got it. Look at this one. Crit rate, crit damage. Might roll speed as a substat in that final one. But now we got 2-piece speed with 2-piece. Well, we can play around with that one. 2-piece imaginary, 2-piece pioneer. Those are options that you do have. 13 minutes. We're not doing too bad. For the relic piece inside of here, I'm going to go broken kill or mix and match with the best substats. Broken kill is a strong option. Pinakoni Land of the Dreams is a strong option if you're doing a full-blown mono composition. I can see this popping off as well. Sprightly Bond Whack might be a solid option depending on...
I would say kill itself has more value, especially for Aventurine, because the rest adds up. The rest does add up. So kill generally just have a little bit more option. And I don't really think there's like a mono imaginary comp. Like what? Ratio, Aventurine, Welt, Yukong. I have no idea, but yeah, it's just a little bit rough. So I would say Q is just better to farm in general.
What you're doing with Aventurine, if you want to go 3 times in the first turn, maybe, I don't know. It is an option. I can see it working. I think this is going to be the best damage dealing option. Inert Salsada gives you 8% crit rate, 15% to his follow-up, and his ultimate, which is really nice. So this is another option. Other than that, you could Copium do this just for 15% defense. Other than that, I don't recommend this.
If you spend your 3 times planner event farming for World 6 and you got absolutely dog shit drops, then honestly, you can blame no one but yourself. I'm just saying.
This one, I'll be honest with you, because he doesn't build effect hit rate. Yeah, I would say, Pure Fiction. This is going to be a banger set for Pure Fiction. In fact, this is just the best set in the game for Pure Fiction, period, outside of Aventurine. So that's another one. But Broken Kill will be a very solid option, getting that extra 10% effect resistance, 10 crit damage given to the whole party. It's nice. Inert Salsada and Broken Kill are probably going to be my best 2 recommendations, but don't sleep on Pinakoni for the imaginary. Anyways, light cone wise, Japard. I actually am one of these people that thinks Japard's light cone is better than his damn signature light cone. Now, is it actually better than his signature light cone? No, of course not. The signature light cone is going to be best in slot for sure due to its value of inflicting a debuff that makes it more synergistic and universally valuable to compositions and characters who need that inflicted debuff, such as Acheron and Dr. Ratio. So that's a strong inflict. The inflict in and of itself is better than everything else in the kit.
I meant Aventurine, not Dr. Ratio LL. So like, okay. Sure.
Because Dr. Ratio's damage is so mid. The 40% defense and the 40% crit damage is the biggest pump fake, and the people who don't know the formulas of this game are gonna get pump fake by it thinking it's a good damage, selling point.
I just want to say,
I've spoken about this at length already, but I'm gonna say
I've never heard of the term pump fake in my entire life until Gacha Smack introduced it to me. I don't know where it come from, but like insane.
One more time. The problem with Aventurine is his multipliers are dog shit. So even though the 40% crit damage and defense look good, his multipliers, it doesn't matter. Like if the 40% defense and the 40% crit damage was given to somebody with Imbiber Lunae multipliers, 500% on a fully charged basic attack, scaling off defense, that would be massive. But it's Aventurine's dog shit ass multipliers. Bro's doing 25% of his defense on the follow-up attack.
As of this point, I feel like Smack is slightly downplaying the amount of damage you're going to be dealing with Aventurine's follow-up kit. The amount of damage that Aventurine does in a single instance is not much. But because of how frequent this follow-up attack can be, as well as in a lot of scenarios, this chip damage adds up and it enables your DPS to not waste any of their big hits. Don't waste an ultimate, don't waste Acheron's ultimate, or don't waste Jingyuan's Lightning Lord. This chip damage, it genuinely does add up over time.
500%, 25%. You see what I'm saying? 100% on his basic attack, 270 on his ult. These are dog shit percentages. So the 40% defense and crit damage is a massive pump fake. You don't need to supplement substat. Oh, I put defense on my rope.
I would say he's right in this though. You definitely don't need Aventurine's signature light cone, because a lot of preservation light cones, such as Japard's light cone, really good substitutes. Is it worth your Stellar Jades? Probably not. But Aventurine's damage output is definitely up there.
And now, no, I pick up his light cone and now I can put ER on my rope. You can just put ER on your rope anyways. He's gonna have plenty of defense. That shit is overkill. That said, done with my tangent. This light cone right here, 48% defense, second highest defense base stat in the entirety of the game. Aventurine's light cone is going to top it. But this gives you so much. You do have to get hit for this to proc, but it comes with taunt value increase. So that means you're going to get hit a lot. You know why?
Yeah, MO is going to be really
because
good.
The people are going to be using it with Topaz.
Fun fact, if you are like me and you somehow manage to continuously fill your 75-25s, and for God knows whatever reason, you got an S5 moment of victory in insane, right? But that's all I'm gonna say.
Pass and Dr. Ratio are hunt path characters. Hunt path characters have 75 taunt value. You know how many preservation have? 150 taunt value, double the taunt value of the hunt path characters. So preservation plus hunt is a very strong synergy because they're more likely to get hit. Japar takes that 150 and bumps it up even higher. Do I know the actual number? No, because they didn't put it in the goddamn game. Dumb as shit. I don't know why. One of the most stupid things I've seen. Put the taunt value on the light cone. Don't just let me sit here and guess at it like it's rocket science, bro. Anyways, his taunt value raises it up even further, increasing his chances of getting hit a lot. And him getting hit, he gets 2 stacks towards his follow-up except 1, whereas, when everybody else gets hit, it's only 1 stack per person getting hit. You want him getting hit. 1, he's going to build his follow-up attack more, but he's also going to get more energy recharge. With the ER rope, he's going to get juiced. And then if he gets hit, his defensive shield is way more beefier. It's way more beefy. It's got that ribeye steak beefiness. And more harder to chim down. Most importantly, you're protecting your teammates from getting their shields dwindled down. So there's a lot of benefit with taunt value. That said, that's why this light cone is really going to be good on him. Now, if you don't have it, first of all, you can buy it for free in the shop if you save up enough currency, or if you lose 50/50s.
I would never recommend anyone in the world to be spending your 30 pools on a Japar light cone. I think it would have been, you can definitely just run like your day one, like this March light cone, insane. Even Trend in Universal Market, if you're going to pair Aventurine with Archon, insane. Even Landau choice, insane. I would never recommend anyone to spend pools for this, because you're going to get it anyways. It is what it is.
Chances are day one players already got about 85 copies of it. I know I do. Even on my free-to-play account, I got 2 copies of this on my free-to-play account, which is insane. I don't even have that on this account. Anyways, Landau's choice will do the same thing I just mentioned with you in terms of taunt value. I don't know if it gives the same here. Again, they just don't even like mention it. It's so annoying. This is a good free-to-play option. 1, the effect resistance. 2, if you're trying to go for damage, this is actually going to be solid. Now, its defense isn't worth a quarter. It's only like 496, I believe, but that's an option. This, if you really want the most tankiness for your team survivability, do not sleep on this. This is so good. This is so good.
Yeah,
I do have it in S5, right? So,
but
the defense in this is very powerful for your team. It actually makes them very tanky. I don't recommend this. He's not building any effect hit rate in his
Hold
kit.
up, let me finish up this
on him. He's gonna miss a lot of the actual triggers. So if you're trying to like run this play with Acheron, the difference between him and like Japar or the Fire MC, you're actually gonna build effect hit rate on them because it helps with their kit. It helps him freeze. It helps the Fire MC taunt. There's nothing in Aventurine's kit that incentivizes him to build effect hit rate. So if you put this on,
just get S5 Trend in Universal Market. 120% base chance, insane. Very relatable.
Him. Good luck. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But he has a ton of options. People can use it. It is usable. But he has a ton of options, which is also the reason why you just don't need the damn signature light cone. The 10% increase in received damage, that ain't shit these days. Ron May's shitting on that with all of her buffs. Sparkle's shitting on it. Pella's shitting on it. It's not that good. I'll be honest with you guys. I know the multipliers. I can just literally punch it in. That's what I'm gonna recommend. Traces, and you can watch somebody else's guide on that shit. I'm gonna be striving for, somewhere around here, 170 crit damage if you're rocking defense. I believe I am, right? Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind. If you're not rocking defense, then you need to be pushing towards 200% crit damage. Try and get there. Try. That's a goal. If you are rocking defense, just knock this off down to 120. You should have about 120 crit damage, and you should be as close as possible to 100% crit rate.
Holy shit. Very relatable.
That at 4,000 defense, he gives you a free-ass 48% crit chance, plus another 5 from his base, plus 8% from inert. You should be able to get at least 30% crit rate across 6 relic pieces. You should be able to get pretty close to 100% crit rate.
Very relatable.
20 minutes. We yapped. Am I missing anything else? No. I hope you guys learned something fun and interesting and insightful from this video. As always, thanks for watching. Of course, I'll be dropping showcases when he releases. I always put my money where my mouth is.
Absolutely.
I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Yeah, okay, genuinely, I think this video, nothing wrong whatsoever. Because the point, okay, I think this entire video can be summarized in this one sentence, which is pretty much what he mentioned for Blade as well, right? Forsake wind damage, forsake imaginary damage sphere, forsake your crit damage body, and you go all in defense, and then you run a ER rope. Because in Gacha Smack's opinion, the amount of damage difference between like a imaginary damage sphere and a crit damage body, it is not that big of a deal. It is like, according to his calculations, it's like 200-300 difference anyways. So it's like not that big of a difference. And he would much rather have a much bigger shield, because keep in mind, Aventurine's shield scaling, there's no cap. You can scale infinitely, right, with your defense, right? The more defense you have, the more shield it's gonna be. He would prefer Aventurine providing more shields and have a much more comfortable, sustained experience using Aventurine instead of just focusing on the damage output from follow-up attacks and ultimate, which is completely valid, right? In my opinion, as well as the fact that we just watched the nuclear reactions from the CN's first impressions, Aventurine, even while on full damage, 4-piece debuffer, 2-piece solo, imaginary damage sphere, defense rope, because like I mentioned, you don't need ER rope, defense boots, and a crit damage body. Even with all these, the man showcased an Aventurine where his entire team was just not taking any damage. He was still very, very comfortably sustaining his entire team. So in this current position, if your team is not facing any pressure when it comes to sustain, you might as well just let Aventurine himself deal more damage. Because you will never know when you need that additional damage until you realize the enemy has 1 HP left, and then your 10-stack Lightning Lord rains down terror on the 1 HP enemy. You will never know it until it happens to you, right? Having more damage will always feel, or at least for my opinion, it will feel better because you're like, oh my god, thank god I dealt enough damage, I can move on to the next phase and I save my Archon's ultimate or I save my whatever ultimate. So do you want to deal more damage or do you want to sustain more? TLDR is basically this, right? And I don't think Gacha Smack is wrong at all. It is completely valid. But that's just my personal opinion on what's going on, right? So with that, we've come to the end of today's content. If you want to engage any further discussions, head on over to the comment section or drop by my Discord at discord.g/Pokke's village. We have a very active community talking about Honkai on a daily basis, right? Want to check out my stream at twitch.tv/Pokke's on YouTube.com/Pokke. I'll be streaming every single day, scheduled under the Discord. So that's all I have for today. I think by the time this video goes up, it's almost going to be Aventurine's Barrier. So all the best for Aventurine pools, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.